talk all day about.
Then that's what we're doing. Life should happen for you, not to you. Are we good with that? I love that.
Yeah.
Fire.
Okay.
Good shit.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah, I've been.
Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the DTK podcast. Today is yet another extremely special episode because we just keep coming with extremely special people. Today we want to bring on somebody that we believe, and we know is a major inspiration to women all around the world, someone who has dedicated her time and her life to making sure that things operate the right way, flow the right way, and has set herself as an example that I know so many people are proud to see and so many people aspire to be like. This is our very good friend, Kins. Welcome to our podcast. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I think that was the best
That was a
intro
great
you
intro.
ever gave. And I believe it 100% because not only have you inspired so many women, but you inspired us too with a lot of the work you've done. And I'm super excited to get to unpack your story because we kind of go far. You're one of my best friends' wives, and I could see the transitions that has happened in between your life, and it's fucking exciting, and I'm ready. How are you feeling today?
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good. Let's break it down.
Let's break it down. So when did we first meet?
2020.
2020, right? Pre-pandemic, right?
No, mid-pandemic.
Oh yeah, mid-pandemic. I feel like
it was like April or May.
Yeah.
May, probably May.
I remember
April.
Christian hit me up. He's like, dude, I got this badass chick. She's so powerful. She's an entrepreneur. She's doing her thing. I was like, I need to meet her. And then when we actually finally did, I was like, oh my God. That's when we were having fun. We had splurged with the Sea-Doos during that time. We had the 42.
2020, me and Christian always say this, 2020 was like so much fun.
Yeah.
But it just happened so fast.
It did.
Yeah.
It happened really
life
fast.
Changed real fast.
I remember we were talking, I think it was after we were writing Sea-Doos, and that's kind of when I understood more of your story. And you actually have a really interesting story because your mindset is different because you could, whatever you want, you're gonna achieve. But it's not only like your work ethic too. I don't think I've met someone who has worked as hard as you have with the business you have, and not only that, but you're teaching other people too. It's really important for us because with DTK, we're all about helping people achieve their dreams through the right knowledge, and you're kind of in the same business with your background and your entrepreneurship. So
I think everybody has a gift.
Mm-hmm.
I think people struggle with figuring out what their gifts are, but everybody can monetize their gifts if they just figure out what it is. And I did that, and now I monetize it. And now.
When did you figure out your first when did you have the spark of your gift? What was that?
Well, I always knew, ever since I started working, I knew I would never work for somebody else. That was something I always told myself. It's crazy because if I look back on my life, how it unfolded, I manifested every single step of my life. Sometimes not even knowing it. But if I look back now, I could see that I did that because I remember being super, when I first started working, I was a server. I did that forever. And I would tell myself, I'm not going to work for somebody. And over again, I would tell myself that every day. I just didn't know how that would come about. But yeah, as soon as I realized, okay, when I started lashing, I started making YouTube, I realized, okay, people actually listen to what I have to say.
Yeah.
And as soon as there was a demand, I just capitalized on it.
That's
and I,
beautiful.
Never looked back.
I tell everybody we all need to do what makes us happy.
Yeah.
And if we do that well enough, we're going to be able to monetize it, right?
Yeah, well, I think people don't realize what makes them happy. They outsource, so they say what does my mom want me to do, or what does my dad want me to do, or where's the money at, instead of actually chasing what they what makes them happy, and then monetizing it that way.
Well, clearly the results speak for themselves. I mean, being an entrepreneur is a very difficult thing. Building a business or a brand is a difficult thing in and of itself, but you've done this as a mother, as a wife. I mean, you are showing the world what is possible regardless of all circumstances. So your plate is full and you're making sure that everybody around you eats, and that's a beautiful thing. Before we came online, you mentioned that, and you spoke about manifestation briefly.
Yeah.
So you mentioned two things. Number one, and I think that's what we're going to highlight as the topic of today's podcast, life happens for you, not to you, right?
Yes.
And the other thing is when we ask for things, they come to us, whether we ask for things in a positive light or in a negative light. A lot of time there's a lot of negativity that is surrounding us. It seems that there are obstacles at every point in the path, and sometimes we attract those obstacles, right? Maybe we can expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I've just started to recently like dig into this, and I try now every morning to listen to somebody like inspirational or who can teach me more about how to like live in this.
So you listen to DTK podcast?
Actually, you guys, never mind. I was going to say, I've actually never listened to one of your guys' podcasts. Christian listens to it like every day, so I like hear it, but.
Shout out Christian. He actually texted me the other day.
I just actually don't have time, because I'm like.
Dude, you're busy.
You're hearing by
20%
proxy.
Kids, blah, 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 but I'll listen to this one.
Hey, you're here right now, and that's the most important
That's
thing.
even better. We have you in the flesh right here.
So I think people it's so easy to get caught up in like the hardships of life because it's always thrown at us. And so when you get stuck in the mindset of like, why is all these things happening to me? It's like life is supposed to happen for you. But it comes down to like what you're constantly thinking about. Your thoughts determine your reality. Mm-hmm. And so they say like a man's life is determined by what he thinks about.
Yeah.
So like if people sit down and think about like what are you thinking about on a day-to-day basis, if it's not like money, how to get better, like positive things, then you're obviously thinking about the negative in life, and then you're just attracting more and more of that into your reality.
Yeah, that's 1,000% true, because I remember when I first wanted to get out of Riverside, the very first step was just thinking that thought. And I would meditate on it like daily. Yeah. I didn't know how I was going to get out. I didn't know what direction. All I knew is that's what I wanted to do. And whatever God would allow me to do, it would show me the doors, right? But without thinking that thought, and it's not like saying like, okay, I want a Lamborghini, I'm going to get it next tomorrow, right? It's like, what do you truly want or desire? And it's always been growth. It's always been success, and it's always like those small little steps, right? So I wanted the growth, I wanted the success, but I knew I needed to get out of Riverside or wherever I was, right?
Yeah, so when you feel that like pull, that's like, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
Yeah.
Where like a lot of people will just focus more on, I can't get out, I don't have the money, I don't have this, I don't have that, and then they stay back instead of just taking the leap of faith and trusting the process. I remember like where like in San Clemente where I live, I remember before I actually like moved into that house, I remember going there and I would just sit on the beach and I would be like, one day I'm going to live here. Like one day, like I will live here. And that's the difference. Like people will I talked about my last podcast, like a wealthy mindset versus a poverty mindset. And so a lot of people's mindsets are like, I don't have the money, I'll never get the money, where's it going to come from? Like I could never obtain this lifestyle, it's too out of reach. Like that's exactly what you're going to live.
You're going to attract that.
Oh yeah, if you keep talking like that. Where me, I sat there and said, I will have this, I will have that G-Wagon, I will have that Range Rover, I will have this, like I will live here, and now we own a home there. So it's like everything is possible. Anything is possible.
Anything and everything is possible. I do the same exact thing every time we run after Crystal Cove. I go right to the houses right there on the beach. I just take a lap at all of the houses, and I'm just like, one of these is going to be mine one day. But I make it a priority every single time I run to go over there, manifest it, visualize it, and feel it. Like, feel yourself there already. Because that's another important thing. It's not like just seeing it. It's like, okay, you close your eyes, you're feeling it. You could feel the walls, you could feel the air, the breeze. You see the
They
family.
say to like picture yourself as if you're already living it.
Yes.
And that's how you like attract it stronger.
So we've already established that through manifestation, we can attract anything that we desire. But how much more powerful would it have been if we were to go walk that block together and look at those houses
I'm glad
and
you said
manifest
that.
it together?
Because they say when you're trying to manifest something or attract something, that when you have to think about it as if who else will it affect or help. So like if you're trying to manifest more money, you think about like who's going to benefit from you having more money. So like who could you help, or what would your kids benefit from it? Yeah. So like if you tie somebody else to it, more than one person, it's supposed to manifest faster.
Absolutely. Our good friend Jay made an analogy the other day. Imagine us as beams that are just beaming up, and whatever manifestations we have, whatever thoughts we're processing, whatever desires exist in our head, they're beams. But you bring these beams together, yours and mine and Dan's, and if they are all in alignment, it's now one big antenna, and it's just beaming this radiant energy that attracts absolutely everything to us. And that's what's happened here ever since I took that leap of faith and moved out here, because I was meant to be out here, but I held myself back for quite a while before actually taking that leap of faith.
Out of fear.
And out of fear and hesitation. Also family. I didn't want to distance myself from family, but it was also kind of jumping up 2 times the rent to come out here, right? To come out to OC from Riverside. I had the money, I made the money in the market, but something was holding me back. And then sometimes I guess the universe just knows when you're ready, and I think God came down and gave us the strongest heat wave of 2022 and turned off my air conditioning during that summer and forced me out of there. So enough was enough. At that time, I think inside I was just completely ready, and everything just worked out the way it was supposed to.
Well, I believe like timing is everything too. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, right? Everybody wants it right away. Instead of sitting on the thought over and over again of like, okay, I will have this. And they say don't ever put a timing on or a time frame on when you're going to get something. Just keep telling yourself and then it will come. So it's funny that you said that like you hesitated, but timing is also everything. And then realize too, when you're on the right path, you're doing the right things, doors and opportunities are always going to open for you. It's like you saying, like you'll start to meet the right people. You'll start to just everything just kind of like flows organically.
That's 2 big things you just mentioned, because if you would have went here earlier, shout out to Hossian House, they weren't here, right? So if they weren't here, there's no rooms available. We wouldn't have met Tiff. We wouldn't have met Brandon. We wouldn't have been here doing the podcast right here. We wouldn't be doing it at our office. So yeah, timing exactly.
Timing's
like
everything.
maybe the timing was right.
This building had to be built because God forbid we ended up at the building across the street.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think things would have ended up the same way. This community's been absolutely enormous to our growth as a team. We've built a lot of our team here, team members that are now family to us, that we love, and they're truly like us in every way, shape, and form. So it has been blessings, and that's one of the first things that kind of we started speaking about here is just endless amounts of blessings have been coming our way. And I make it a point to vocalize those blessings and show that gratitude all the fucking time. It's like the only thing I talk about on a daily basis. But
yeah, I think you're really good at that.
I'm fucking grateful, dude. I'm fucking grateful. Thank you, Kins.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good to also like tell people when you are grateful for them, because then it just helps them also, like
100%.
yeah, this world is just so bad right now. I feel like we need all the positivity and just help people.
Yes.
For sure.
So we talk about manifestation. So when was it a point where you knew you wanted to be an entrepreneur, you had the lash, but I want to talk about like the growth phase too, because it's not one thing about like thinking about it, but you got to do the work, right?
Yes.
You got to put the work in.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Like, people just want it right away. It's like, you're not going to get rich right away. There's no get rich fast scheme. Like, it's work.
It's work.
Every day.
Embrace the struggle.
Every day, it's work. And honestly, I think when you're an entrepreneur, I mean, you can ask Christian, like, I never stop working.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Ever. Like, I'm on my phone 24/7. I'm on the computer. Like, so people think like, oh, you own your own business, it's not as much work. I'm like, hell no, it's like double the work. You never stop working. You're on call 24/7.
Yeah.
Easily.
But Yeah, I think that the growth can happen as quickly as you want it to, depending on how hard you're willing to work for it.
Nice. And I mean, your growth has been amazing.
Yeah.
You hit millions of dollars in your lash business, and let's talk about that, because that's pretty fucking insane.
Take
and
us back to day one.
Yeah, take us back to day one. How does this happen? What do you do? And show us how to make millions too.
Okay. So, day one, you want to talk about like day one, or like lash business day one?
Day one.
Day one.
I want to hear when the thought came into your head and you said, this is what I'm going to do.
Well, it kind of all comes back to like, I found like, I couldn't find a product that I loved as a lash artist. So I realized like, okay, there's a problem in the industry. How can I fix it? And I wasn't even thinking like for everybody else. I was just thinking like for me.
Yeah.
So I just had this crazy idea. I'm like, what if? Like, what if it would work? And my mindset is like, I would rather try something and fail at it than never try and wish I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, F it. Like, I'm just going to go for it. So I was a lash artist full time. And I used a specific lash. And there was only a couple brands, maybe like 2 brands at the time that carried this specific tray. And they sucked. So I was like, well, this is the only way I can lash, but there's got to be better out there.
Yeah.
So I just started sampling. Took me like a year probably till I found like my tray. But simultaneously, as I was doing that, I was doing YouTube full time.
Yeah.
So I created a community within YouTube where people would watch me. I would do like tutorials or lash with me's. And so everybody was like, what lashes do you use? And I was like, oh shit, like people want to know the product I'm using and they want to lash like me, plus they listen to me. So I'm like, this is like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So
You were cooking.
yeah, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And my YouTube was growing really quickly. And while doing that, so I was like lashing full time, working on my product line on one tray, and then I was also training full time. So I was getting like trainings from people all over the world, just through my YouTube.
Damn.
So,
Do you
know
think
if you guys know
YouTube
this.
set you up? Like,
Yes, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world.
yeah.
So there's Google and then there's YouTube. So I was like, I credit everything to YouTube.
Dang.
If I can go back, so like I guess that answers your question, right? I think what you asked me earlier. I think without YouTube, my product line would not be what it is today, and I wouldn't even have the reach that I had, that I have.
When did you start YouTube?
2019.
Okay.
No, 2018. 2018 I started it. 2018 I started YouTube, and I was like, I'm just gonna go like ham on it.
Yeah.
So I just started it, and in the beginning, of course, no one watches you, but I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
We uploaded like so consistently. I gave myself 6 months to hit 1,000 subs because that's when you can start monetizing.
Yeah.
And we did it within 1 month.
Let's go.
That's fucking
So then I was
That's
like,
sick.
okay. And then I was probably one of the first 5 maybe people on YouTube doing specific lashes. So the niche was small, but it was growing so
True,
fast.
True.
So I just capitalized on it. And I was like, all right. So I bought, I think I saved like $1,200 of my own money and then ordered the product. And I started using them in my YouTube videos before I dropped it. So then people were asking about it.
Oh, that's so smart.
And then dropped it, and then they sold out the first month. And then I realized, like, me, in my little mind, I'm like, no one's going to buy this. And then I just remember watching, I don't know if you have, like, Shopify, but you can see how many people are on your site at one time.
Yeah.
And so I was just sitting there on my couch, like, holy shit, all these people. And then it sold out. And then I capitalized like on a different way. I was doing so many trainings, but when you do a training, you provide a kit of product. So I started throwing all my shit in the kits.
Yeah.
And so people learn with your product and they keep buying. So it just kept like adding on customers.
That's a key point, because you're doing everything yourself, but then you're showing people your own product, and most people probably do everyone else's product.
Yeah,
right?
well, there's like obviously a ton of lash brands.
But what you understood was the very first thing, like the other products were trash. So you were bringing quality to the table too.
Yeah, and I was showing people how to do it in the videos at the same time.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like dispersed really well. And then, yeah, so January 2019, I dropped the product line, sold out. then I was like, oh shit, wasn't expecting that. So then I took everything I made, ordered more. Lashes take like anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks sometimes to like get it again. So the whole month of February, I didn't have any inventory.
Damn.
And
That's a
then,
good problem to have, but
yeah,
damn.
it's fine. And then the next month I ordered that plus more product, and it just literally took off. The first year we dropped it, we did over 500,000, I think in the 600 range. And then 2020, 1.2. And then it's just grown since.
Fucking amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's been crazy.
And it just, so my main thing, because there's probably a bunch of people who are just like you, but they have a fear. Like YouTube is probably a big fear for people, like getting in front of cameras or getting in front of, like how did you overcome that fear?
I don't think I ever had a fear of it.
You're just like, fuck it. I knew what I wanted to do and push record and go for it.
Yeah, I knew that I was good at lashing.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was, well, honestly, what motivated me was in a lash training at the time, they didn't teach a lot. And so you're thrown out and you're like, oh shit, what, like, you just learn so much trial and error because they just teach you basic. And so I was like, okay, well, if I can make a channel that is dedicated to teaching people the things that I learned the hard way, and I could teach them how to do it not the hard way, then I feel like if I struggled with it, there's probably a million other people struggling with it too. And that's so easy for anybody to figure out. So what did you struggle with in your niche, whatever it is, and how can you help somebody else? Because the more valuable you are, the more money you can charge, or the more people are drawn to you. People want to learn every day. And obviously with the internet, you can teach right there on your phone.
Absolutely.
To whoever is willing to listen.
So you said two things earlier. You said that you first off, YouTube is the second largest search engine online. And you also said that you started this around 2018 and you were one of the first 5 people in your niche, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to everybody that is on the fence right now, wants to start a YouTube, but they feel that the market is saturated and that it's too late for them to start?
Good question.
Well, the lash, I mean, in my specific, the lash industry is a $1 billion industry and growing. I think that there's always room for somebody to start. There's so many, like, I think that everybody is good at a certain thing.
Yeah.
Right? So like I might teach a certain technique. They might teach a totally different technique. You might be really good at like lash mapping where I'm really good at making like everybody has their specific thing that they're good at. You have to figure out what that is.
Very good at lash mapping.
You're good at lash mapping. I've seen it before.
Right? So like everything is saturated. Everything has multiple successful things going on within it, right? I mean, you can look at restaurants, you can look at clothing brands, you can look at music. It's like people are drawn to a personality, and I think that's what people need to figure out is like, how do you connect with your community? Why do people like you? What are you teaching? And just bring value.
Yeah, I think the main thing too is like what you said. Doesn't even have to be lashes. Find something that people are struggling with, and figure out how to make their life easier. That's how I learned with Amazon. When we did Amazon, we figured out, okay, it was quality. It was kind of the same thing. Figure out how you could get the samples, quality better. Yeah. My clients, how we could make their life easier. So it's all about finding something like that you can make easier, and personality does play a big part too. So it's a big thing.
Well, I think people love to make up excuses, right? Like it's too saturated, or so many people are doing it, or I'm scared to talk in front of, it's like get over it.
Just start.
Like, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Fucking love that.
If you don't, then you're just always going to be in that position. I don't know. I'm very big on like, just go for it.
Yeah.
Who cares I just made a podcast today actually talking about that. Like, who cares what somebody on the internet thinks about you? They're not paying your bills. They're not waking up. They're not you. And everybody, this is sad to say, but so many people hate to see other people doing better than them. And so, like, I was talking today on my podcast about how, like, on YouTube, in the comment section, I remember, like, my first mean comment. And I remember, like, reading it and calling my brother and being like, dude, they said this about me. Like, is that, like, what? And he was like, just don't ever read the comments. Like, who cares what they have to say? And from that moment on, I never read comments.
Dang.
Because
that takes a lot. It's gonna take a
Like, who
lot.
cares? Like, I'm gonna get up the next day and do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, 1000%.
And no matter what, you're gonna have haters, you're gonna have supporters. So it's like, who cares?
Yeah, my bank
Get up
account
and
ain't
do it.
hating. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
So in summary, pretty much every market is saturated, but
Yeah,
there is a
think about it.
huge addressable market within every market. And at the end of the day, we need to capitalize on ourselves and get the fuck over it.
Get over it. And it's like, it's never been easier to make money than it is today.
1000%.
There are so many opportunities. And I think it goes back to people's childhood and how they were raised with the thought of money.
Psychology of money.
Yeah, like the language of money. People are scared of money. If you really get down to it, like a lot of people are afraid of having a lot of money because they don't know what to do with it. Did you know 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt?
Yeah.
And it all comes down to their relationship with money.
Yeah.
I can't
Crazy.
have this shit. Fucking gotta spend it.
No, we talk
Yeah,
about
well,
that
a lot of people
time.
All
think,
the
they say
time.
like either they get a bunch of hate or like it's like they're damned if they do, they're damned if they
Yeah.
don't. Because like most of them will stay in their same, like where they're from. And then everybody knows they won the lottery. So they expect so much from them. Like you pay for this or you pay for that.
Yeah.
And then if they don't, then it's like, why aren't you paying for this? You just won the lottery. So it's kind of like, so then they just blow their money.
I think it's hard for lottery winners, because unlike entrepreneurs who are going through the grind on a daily fucking
Yeah.
basis and going through the ups and downs and suffering and struggling and still getting up and doing the same shit every day until it fucking works.
Yeah.
Lottery winners just fucking wake up one day and they have this
Like,
huge
whoa.
sum of money. So
Yeah.
mentally they're not prepared for that. They
right.
may not have been manifesting it the same way that we manifest the things that are coming our way.
For sure.
And then they have the spotlight that's on them. The press is out there. TMZ's on their ass. All of a sudden, pictures are plastered everywhere. Then you have the relatives that come in from everywhere because it feels like they didn't earn it. So everybody
Right.
wants a piece of it too. And even when you earn it yourself, everybody does generally want a piece to a degree, but there's always that respect for the struggle that you've been through from the people around you, right? That know how much time and effort you've put in. For people like us, the people that are close to us know how hard we fucking work. So the money that we've earned and the money that we're going to continue earning, people respect it differently than had we just
Want it? I will
Yeah.
say though, like even in my experience, now I'm very like hush hush about the money I make because when I first started making a lot of money, I was like, get this and get that. Like I fucking showed it, right?
Sea-Doos, Range Rover.
Yeah. But what I realized too, and it's sad because it's like the people that are closest to you, they expect you to do everything for them, right? So like, even like we say for our kids, I'm like, I don't want our kids to know how much money we have because I don't want them to think that it's so easily earned or that it's theirs. I still want them to like grow up and know that like hard work, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I'll teach you how to build this, but you're not just given it. But yeah, like back to like lottery winners, just people expecting it for them. I think that happens too with people who earned it as well. Because I experienced that.
yeah.
Even like from the people very, very close to me. And I think that's a shitty feeling.
That's shitty.
Yeah. When they like expect like, oh, you have all this money, so you should be doing this for me. It's like, no.
You weren't with me shooting in the gym?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the
So-
struggle is it's shitty because they don't know the long nights we've been through, the fucking sweat, the tears, like the fucking struggle. Like, yeah, if you were with me through all that time, it'd be a whole different story.
Yeah, it's
But you
different.
weren't. And now you want XXS and this? Like, hell no.
Yeah, I think what I was getting at is the real ones. Like the real ones do know our long nights. The real ones have seen our pain. They've been there for us when our heads are down, when we're going through everything. Like those people respect it, right?
Yeah.
It's the people, everybody else. I mean, we all got a lot of friends and a lot of people around us too that don't see that
I
shit.
feel like it's more the people who get it are the ones who also hustle, who also
Yes.
Yeah.
like the people who are not doing that are the ones I feel like are more like, well, feel like we should be obligated to pick up their slack but it's like the hustlers, the people around you have the same mindset and get it.
So surround yourself by hustlers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I made a post the other day. I was like, show me who your friends are. I'll show you who you are. I think that's so true.
1000%.
You are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Your inner circle is everything. That's why I think like they say like the road to success is lonely or at the top is lonely. I don't think it's lonely. I think it's just slim. There's not as many people who have the same mindset. as people, as an entrepreneur.
It takes a lot. It's
What
not
did we
an,
say the other time? Like the people like who made it, they're collaborating with each other. They're eating together too, right? What was
yeah,
that?
they, you know, I don't want to dub them, not the 1%, but the people at the top of the mountain all sit down to eat together. It's a small group and we're not in it,
Bread.
right? And they make sure that they're all eating together, but it's a very small group at the top. But, you know, when you look at like the real big players in this world, the bankers and the financial institutions and everybody else, like they are all in with each other and decisions are made together, obviously for their own corporation first and foremost.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like they are all in bed together and they eat together. But I think that what we keep going back to is you're talking about how we're raised in like that fear of money, right?
Yeah.
It's also, I think for a lot of us, myself and a lot of my friends are like children of immigrants, right? Or even if you're not, maybe your parents didn't have a lot of money growing up. And I think that like the system, what we get funneled through the schooling system, teaches us to really pursue a career path for ourselves, and it's always limited to ourselves. It's build for yourself, and that's that, you know, whatever it is. But the alternate is build fucking together. Build together. If we all want the same thing, if we all have the same vision, it's like what we're talking about manifesting earlier. If we went to those houses together on that block after we did that Crystal Cove run and we manifested having those houses together, us coming together, it's like 2 people manifesting the same thing is powerful. 3 people is going to be incredible. You have 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people that want the same fucking thing. You build a community and you encourage everybody to see that same vision that you see. You're going to fucking have whatever the fuck you want, and nothing will stand in your way when you have that power of manifestation. So going back, I think the system encourages us to stick to ourselves. So you build something for yourself, and everybody struggles to have that thing for themselves. So I think those people that eventually make it and say that it's lonely at the end of the road focused their whole life on building alone and maybe had to isolate from a lot of people. Maybe a lot of people wanted so much from them as they began to grow. So there's this big theme of like, if it's not serving you, just fucking let it go, which I understand, but I'm not a huge like proponent of. I think it's like things are going to exist around us all the time. So it's just a matter of doing what we feel is right with the people that we know are going to support that cause and see that vision with us, right? And then things just work out. I know it's not going to be lonely for any of us at the top. It's only gotten better. I've gotten closer to the friends that I've had like this year more than any year since fucking high school. Like I'm like relationships are starting to come back together, and people are showing up not because they want anything from me, but because they respect what I'm doing, because things are coming together, because we are consistently vocalizing what we're grateful for, because we're consistently saying that we are blessed, because we are, and they just keep fucking coming.
And I think when you have friends that are on that same wavelength, they're attracted to it. Right?
Yes.
And then there's the negative people who are like want nothing to do with it, so then they kind of just
I
fall
don't
off.
see them. I don't see y'all.
Exactly.
Damn, man. This has been an amazing podcast. What do you think? We like to ask 2 questions kind of at the end of it, right?
Okay.
I would say the first question is, someone in your shoes, younger version self, what would you tell them to kind of keep on pursuing in their path?
Like the younger me,
Yeah.
keep going.
Keep going.
Because what I've learned is that life will always happen.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be trials and errors, ups and downs. And there's always like a rainbow on the other side. It always gets better. There's a solution to every problem.
Yeah.
So just keep going.
Keep going.
Believe in yourself, keep going.
I love that.
Fucking
And it's
beautiful.
just going to get better.
I love that.
I'm not even trying to be like cliche. Like, I'm
No,
serious.
it's real,
like,
though.
I'm serious.
That shit's real.
Because
Because
you can get, there's so many, there have been so many times where I tell Christian, I'm like, I'm going to sell the business. I'm over it. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, what else would I do? Like,
Yeah.
this is really what I'm passionate about.
You'd start another one.
But it's like, why?
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
Like, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, even in the craziest times when I'm overwhelmed or overstimulated or I'm like, this is too much, I know, because I've done it time and time again, that it's worth it.
Yeah.
So just keep going.
Keep fucking going. I
And the
love that.
biggest thing is like, there's a solution to every problem you're faced with.
Absolutely.
And that's something every entrepreneur and successful person realizes, is that there's never a no. The problem, find the solution.
Yes.
That's what I would tell myself.
I fucking love that. The second question would be, what's something that you splurged on that you do not regret?
Ooh.
She's like, Christian, my baby daddy.
Yeah. Bring him out. That I don't regret.
Yeah.
Probably my cars.
Your cars?
Yeah, I think that like they motivated me. This is something that like when I don't have things that are like that I've always wanted in my life,
Yeah.
then I feel like I'm held back. But when I have things that I want, it makes me work harder.
Ooh, okay.
So like the G-Wagon, for instance, like
Yeah.
that was a car that I've always was like, I will have this car.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't I will have that car, that would be mine. And when I have those things, I'm like motivated to get up every day and like go for it again.
Dang.
Because I know I can get it and I know that it's in my reach. So yeah, I would probably say like the G-Wagon, the Range Rover, and that's probably it. Because they motivate me.
Yeah.
But if I just have like basic regular things, I'm like, I gotta have things that like excite me to get up for, and those things
I
motivate
love
me.
that.
Yeah, I can relate to that big time. You know, I stopped spending I spend all my money all the time, right? Until I got involved in the stock market. But I can totally see how you feel because I always felt the same way. It's like we work our fucking asses off down to the bone and it's non-fucking stop. It's every single day,
Yeah.
Monday through Monday, like
Yeah.
24 fucking 7. We're plugged in and connected. And sometimes in the middle of all that, you just want something to reassure you that the initial driving forces that might have, you know, the reasons are always they're going to be grand and deep and all that stuff. But sometimes you need those little things to show you that, hey, I have this. Because I think at the end of the day, it's just a matter of like reassurance about your control. Like, I got this. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
fucking faze me.
No.
So let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah, I think that's
Wagons
super
and Rovers, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I always have to have something to motivate me. So like now I'm like, I'm gonna get the new Range Rover. That's like in my mind.
Ooh.
So that's why that's my next goal.
You gonna get the 7-seater?
I have to because I have so many fucking
Let's
kids.
go, dude. Those back seats fold down real nice.
Yeah. So have goals. I think goals are so important, and focus on them. My previous stepmom, she was a firefighter, and she told me this when I was really young. She was like, if you ever want something, like whatever it is, she wanted a Tahoe at the time, right? So she would print out a picture of whatever it is she wanted, and she had a vision board, and she would look at it every single day. And she's like, you want something, you look at it every single day, you think about it every single day, and it will come to you. And at the time I was young, I was like, what is she talking about? But now that I understand it, I'm like, holy shit, that's so true. Like, you can set a goal for yourself and achieve it no matter what.
No matter
That's
No matter
fucking
what it
hard.
is.
Dan, what did you just get the other day
what did I get?
on your birthday?
The best birthday ever.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Oh, the picture? Yeah, so for my birthday, Fatty had made me a beautiful picture. You know what building this is, the one right across LA Fitness, the one that has a bunch of mirrors and all that stuff. You can see the clouds and all that. So I told Fatty one day, I was like, I took a picture and I just wrote DTK Dreamers on it, like you know, you could edit it on your story and stuff like that. I was like, this is gonna be our building one day. And he went out there and took some pictures and actually photoshopped our logo and our name and all that stuff. And it looks like it looks professional enough where that's gonna be our building. And it was amazing. It made me feel really like this is us, and everything that's happening we're inspired. Everything that's happening right now, we could feel it. And like, it wasn't no doubt in my mind. A lot of people have that doubt, like, okay, like you're gonna make $1 million. Okay, you know, or this is gonna be yours, this is gonna be yours. Like, no, that actually fucking put more flame like with what we're doing. And I was just like, damn, like that was fire. So yeah, that's
So let's wrap it up saying this. Visualize and vocalize everything that you want in life, because life should happen for you, not to you.
That's fucking amazing. It's amazing. Ken, so I know if there's young entrepreneurs out there that want to like do what you're doing, I know you teach all that stuff too, right?
Yeah. I've kind of transitioned from teaching how to lash to more coaching and business coaching.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a huge lack of it in our industry.
Yes.
So many successful people have so much knowledge.
Yeah.
You have to. But don't share that.
Yeah.
And so I've always been, at least in my community and industry, is like trying to help people get to the next level.
Yeah.
So I started that business coaching where I teach them exactly step by step how to hit whatever your goals are.
And that's amazing. And I back that up 100%. So, like, how can they reach you with that, or what's your website and all that stuff?
Yeah, so the website's www.lashesbykins.com, and all of the information's there.
Okay.
In our learning tab, web my
Perfect.
business coaching. Yeah. So
And then your YouTube, your Instagram, your socials.
Lashes by Kins.
Lashes by Kins. That's amazing. Honestly, like, you've been one of the biggest inspirations in our life, and I'm so blessed to have you in our life, and that you met Christian, and just really means a lot to me. You guys are family. I've always said that to you, and I wouldn't. This podcast is amazing. It's going to inspire so many people out there. And what was your last comment you said? Because I wanted to go back onto that because that was fire.
We'll wrap it up with one more thing.
Yeah.
Visualize and vocalize everything that you want in life. Life should happen for you, not to you.
So twice.
Mic drop.
How to say it?
There it
How to
is.
so nice? How to say it twice, baby. Guys,
Wagons and Rovers. Let's get it.
Wagons and Rovers, man. Thank you guys so much for joining the DTK podcast. You guys know where to follow us, like us, subscribe. We appreciate you guys so much. The love and support we've been getting, and it's been amazing. We couldn't ask for a better community like you guys, and we appreciate you. I love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, so sometimes the conversation is so good that after you've wrapped up, you have to come and sit your ass right back down. So as soon as we got out of here, I started talking to Kins again. We started talking to Kins, and we were just paying some gratitude and saying thanks for her coming on and sharing her story. I know that it's going to be a huge inspiration to so many men and women out there, mothers and wives, and people that want to take the next step in their chapter. And I wanted to say thank you for a couple of reasons, and one of them is primarily because the road to whatever we call success is oftentimes a lonely one, and sometimes it feels like we are on our own. And when our heads are down at the end of the night after hours and hours of work, sometimes it feels like we don't have anywhere to turn to. So I know that these opportunities, being able to sit with someone like you, with yourself, and being able to share these things with others and kind of give them a glimpse at that is a huge and powerful thing. So,
Well, you said something that, like, light switch, and I think maybe it will help some people. When I started this, and my success came really quick, I think, in my mind. And so I never had a coach or a mentor. And so most people look to their parents for direction, right? Like, what do I do in this situation? We always go to our parents or, whoever's closest to you. I learned very quickly that my parents were not the ones to talk to when it came to success and money, because they didn't know anything about it. And so I think it's really important to have somebody, whether it's close friends who also are involved or a coach or a mentor, that you can call for advice. Because so many people go to people, ask the wrong people the wrong questions. Yeah. Or, like, right? So if I were to ask my parents about money, they know nothing about money. Yeah. They're in debt. Yeah. Like, they're not the people I should be talking to. So as somebody who has money but know where to turn to, it's so lonely. Yeah. And sometimes you feel like, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? Am I making the right choices? And I think that can scare a lot of people into just completely stopping. You have to surround yourself with people who have the right answers. Find somebody who either is living the life you want to live or is on that track, and listen to them and do what they say. Because you can't keep going to the people who know nothing about where you're trying to go and get to and ask them questions.
And I think there's a lot of hesitation with so many people to approach people that have found success in some way or another,
Yes.
whether they feel that they're in a different social system than they are, or maybe they're intimidated because they feel they don't have the knowledge that that person has, or whatever it may be. But I think people that have made it, let's just say people that have made it, I can speak for myself and us, and I think this applies to a lot of people in our position as well, because we've fought so fucking hard to have what we have. We're happy to listen to others and provide guidance. We are happy to sit down and share what we can. And I think, me personally, and I know this applies to us too, anytime we see somebody's eyes lighting up and they're looking at us and they want that information, like, we're more than happy. I think at the end of the day, we're always looking for that next person that we can bring on board, whether it's to become part of our team or just simply to help, take the first couple of steps and watch them go fly on their own, because we just don't want to fuck around with people that don't give a shit about the process. Yes. But when it comes down to people that want to fucking build, like, I know deep down in anybody's fucking heart that's made success, they want to see somebody else fucking do it, and they want to let that process be just a little bit less painful, right?
Yeah, if you ask any entrepreneur, like, would you help somebody if they came to you and said they wanted to learn?
Every single fucking day.
Would you? That's what I'm saying. Every entrepreneur is willing to help whoever's willing to do the work.
Yeah.
It's just, we don't want our time wasted. Don't come to me and ask me how to do X, Y, and Z and then not do it. Mm-hmm. But if you're actually willing to do it, every time, I guarantee you that entrepreneur that or whoever you're looking towards for guidance will help you. People are just, like you said, they're scared to make the initial connection.
And that actually,
I think the best advice I can give to anybody who's like, I want to do it, but I'm scared, it's like, go hang out with somebody who's more successful than you or doing what you want to do. Ask to just be around them. Because just alone being around somebody who's at a different level than you, it's a different energy. And if you can even feel that, that's motivating enough.
Yeah. 1,000%. I was going to say, for me, I've helped a lot of people, and I think that's more than like money could ever buy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it drives, like, we inspire people, like in Dreams to Knowledge and everything. We want people to come to us, and that's one of our big, like, parts of building the community is we want people to come to us. But it's not because of, like, it just truly fucking makes us happy because we've been into that side of the fucking world or their position, and whatever I could do to help you, like, that would make my world because I understand what you're going through.
Yeah, and I think that us as entrepreneurs understand, like, the freedom that comes with having your own shit.
Yeah.
That's something that, like, I try to, like, embed into Christian. I'm like, let's start our own shit. Let's do our own shit. Because, like, it's just a different, not only are you, like, proud of yourself and it's, like, gives you a different form of gratification when you wake up every day, but it's, like, you have the freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want. You don't have to report to anybody. And there's just, like, endless mountains you can hit.
Damn.
Like, I remember my mom specifically, right? She's, like, an ER nurse. And she's like, I cannot ever think to live like you do. She was like, I need to know that I'm getting a check and it's going to be this much every single week in order for me to, like, not have an anxiety attack. I'm like, that gives me an anxiety attack. Like, I would rather wake up every day knowing I can make as much money as I want to, depending on how hard I go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just a different mindset. And you either have it or you don't.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. It is not for everybody,
No.
but it can be for so many.
Yes.
And I think at the end of the day, if you're one of those people that's on the fence and you want to get started, don't ask us how we made our money. Tell us you want to move like we fucking move. Be ready to commit. And the doors are always going to be fucking open.
Yeah. Stop asking the wrong questions to the wrong people. Or maybe even don't ask the right questions to the wrong people. You got to ask people who know what they're talking about, who understand it. Ask those people the questions because they're going to give you the right answers.
Absolutely.
And don't listen to the outside noise. Even when I started in the beginning, I remember people telling me, like, it's too saturated. What are you going to do when the economy crashes? I'm like, I made my most money when the economy crashed. Like, 2020 was insane.
Yeah.
And then
I fucking love that.
Yeah.
That was dope. That was fucking dope.
There's always going to be people who doubt you until you prove them wrong.
Yeah.
I had and mostly my family, like, it's not gonna work. And the moment they realize, like, oh shit, that shit worked, then it's like, I'm so proud of you. You did so good. Blah, blah, blah. How much money did you make this month?
Switched up real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, I mean, almost everybody I think naturally wants to doubt, right?
Yeah.
And wants to think of the worst case scenario, but they're hardwired that way. There's a
Yes.
reason they're not the ones that are doing the things that
It goes
we're
back
doing.
Generations. Like, you ever heard of generational curses?
Yeah,
It's so true. Generational curses follow people. I think you have to realize that it's embedded in you and break those curses. And you'll realize you have generational curses through different levels of your life. Like, I realized it in business, but then as I became a parent, I realized, oh shit, I have generational curses. Whoa, I have generational curses here too. And so they just reveal themselves to you little by little. So you just have to be like mindful of that. And it's a whole different lifestyle.
and for every problem there is a solution.
That's right.
So we'll leave it at that.
Let's go.